What's up, everybody? This is Saturday, August 11th, and this is episode 32 of the Daily Comic. I'm Jimmy Bird, and this is a show where I read one comic book a day and then come here and tell you what I think about it. Today's comic will be Sandman Universe. If you can get a good look at that cover right there. Sandman Universe. Put out by DC Vertigo. Full disclosure, as many of you see this, you might know that Sandman was a comic book that came out in the 90s. Very popular. Neil Gaiman's a very popular author. I have never read that comic. I have never read Sandman. I know nothing about Sandman. And you're like, oh, but you own a comic book store. How do you not know it? Well, it got by me. I don't know why. I never read Sandman comic. I've never got into Neil Gaiman as much as everybody else. But I come into this as a blank slate. I thought about maybe trying to catch up on it. You know, when I heard they were releasing the Sandman universe, that they're going to be expanding the Sandman universe, I thought maybe I'll catch up on it. This is my time to read it and get into it so I have a full kind of knowledge going into this. And part of me thought it would be better to keep that blank slate. One of the reasons I do this is to kind of come at the comics like an everyman perspective, that it's not just really deep fans of comic books or the art or the storytelling, that you have to know artists and or authors and all that stuff, but just that comic books are fun and they're entertaining and they're meant to grab a wider audience. So I decided to go with the blank slate idea and come into this simply just reading this as the first thing I've read ever about the Sandman universe. What I knew going into this: Sandman was a comic written back in the 90s by a guy named Neil Gaiman, who in the last 25 years or so has blown up and has created a rabid fan base that love his stuff. He's written many books and stories and graphic novels, including Coraline, if you've seen that movie, including escapes me, American Gods. American Gods is another one. He wrote the book that got turned into a television series and now a comic book based off the television series. All this crazy stuff around American Gods. So, and now here's Sandman, the Sandman universe. Sandman universe was a graphic novel he wrote back in the day, and this is an attempt to expand that universe, to maybe create more characters, go further down the rabbit holes of what was going on. Wildly popular, well-respected, award-winning, and so I come into this like that blank slate, just seeing what's going on. I enjoyed this comic. It's very dark, very different, very fantasy. I liken it to if Tim Burton and Guillermo del Toro got together and formed the movie Inception into their image. This is what we would get. This idea of a dream world and these characters that existed in this dream world and how they interact with the world in which we live in and how it all works, and properties and physics and reality works differently, but they all have to figure it out. It's very cool. So this Sandman universe here is kind of a jumping off, a point one or a primer, if you will, going into 4 new books that are coming out to expand the DC universe. So this was a great place to start. Neil Gaiman is overseeing the entire project, but he's not writing it. So he's kind of overseeing it. He's got some other writers that I think he's picked, and they're going to do this, or DC has picked, and they trust him with the creative outlet. But there's some great titles. You really get to see, like I said, really interesting characters, some really great artwork. Colors are just popping off the page. This was fun to read. But it is a primer to get us ready for the expansion of the Sandman universe, for the new books that are coming out, and to get you excited. Because if there's one thing I've noticed about this book has sold really well so far, but most of the folks that have bought it have either been people who've come in because they knew about it and they just wanted to get this. They're not people who are like, oh, it's the week it comes out and I'm buying my other comics, let me buy that too. It's just like, hey, I heard there's a Sandman comic book coming back out and I want to get that. Or there's been people who were here and were told those Sandman comics will come out, and they have to get it. They can't live without it. So, like I said, Neil Gaiman has a very big following, and there are people who are coming into the store just to buy this, not because they want comic books, or whatever, because they're a fan of Sandman and Neil Gaiman. He creates a very dark, twisted world here. It's also beautiful and complex. It's very exciting for a lot of people to see this universe come back to life and get new life and to expand. There's some very interesting characters, very great character work. I think if you're a fan of the old one, you're going to be enjoying this one, from what I know. So yeah, Sandman universe, the expansion of it all, I liked it. It does do the job. It has me, my curiosity is piqued, and I do want to read the oncoming issues, which I probably will review each one. So yeah, so Sandman Universe, issue 1, DC Vertigo, came out this Wednesday. Did you read it? What did you think? What did you think of the original Sandman? Should I read it? What else should I read? You can put all that stuff in the comments below. You can like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Spread the word of the Daily Comic to you and your friends. And have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow with another comic.